Hello, my name is Navigator, and in today's video I wanted to do a little bit of a discussion with you regarding an article that I saw by IGN talking with an art director for Fallout 76, and the title of the article is Fallout 76's Jonathon Rush reveals secret to the game's longevity after 13 seasons. So, if you can't really deduce what that means, basically what this article is talking about is how Fallout 76 has come all this way. I'm sure you guys know that when it first dropped, it was bashed pretty hard, but I will say, after learning that last year there were 13.5 million players in total, that was that definitely gave me some hope. So, I want to say, preface to this article, no offense to Dale Bashir, the author, the article is not well worded. It is there's a lot of typos, a lot of mistakes. So what I'm going to be doing is cherry picking. I know it's a fallacy, but I'm going to be cherry picking the stuff that I liked from this article and the stuff that I think is actually informative. So I'm going to start by reading what made the Once in a Blue Moon update the right time to focus on the highly popular Blue Ridge Caravan company faction. And Mr. Rush says, the two new public events for this update, Safe and Sound and Beasts of Burden, lets players get to know the Blue Ridge Caravan Company. Probably one of our most popular factions that are Fallout 76 specific, and that faction in particular seemed to be really good fit for the types of public events that we wanted to put out in this patch. So, since they're kind of a fan favorite, and we loved kind of exploring their lore a bit more for players, they seemed like a good match for this major update. And listen, that is very, very heartening to me. I like that a lot, that they understood the factions in this game that we liked the most, and they kind of applied that to them. And for the Blue Ridge Caravan, that was kind of obvious. They had always been making stuff for the Blue Ridge Caravan, and I was always thankful to them for it, and I was definitely thankful for this new update because I love the Blue Ridge Caravan. So yeah. Something else I wanted to say on top of that, though, that might actually give us a little bit of an inclination as to what is coming with the next season. Oh man, I forget what, like, United We Stand. It has to be Enclave. I mean, maybe there's some data mines and stuff that have already kind of proved that, but it has to be Enclave. If there is one faction in this game that fans have been screaming for, it is an Enclave update. So, maybe some good news that they're actually listening to us, and from now on will actually be giving us the kind of content that we want. The next part I want to discuss, Fallout 76 has faced many challenges and obstacles in its launch, but it has managed to survive and grow until the current season and beyond. What is key to Fallout 76's success in overcoming these problems and retaining player loyalty? I'm going to switch up the camera a little bit here so it's not so monotonous. That's a better angle. And he says, as a live service game, it's kind of interesting, especially nowadays. There are many avenues for players to talk about the games they're playing, or even converse with the developers of those games. On places like Reddit, YouTube, wink wink, and Twitter, our developers are really keeping their fingers on the pulse of what our players are experiencing, what our players want to see, and doing what we can to wrap all of that into the current Fallout lore and tone. And I would agree. I really will say this, and this is obviously my bias because I'm a Fallout 76 YouTuber. This is by far the best platform and community that I've ever had in any kind of video game, and I think that he's going to go on to talk about this a little bit more. But I really do feel like, and this is obviously a big part of coming into the modern age, but being a multiplayer game, giving us the facilities in this game like camera mode and the photo option and stuff like that, being able to trade, and really there's a big incentive on interacting with players that will make the community grow. It makes us want to communicate with each other regarding trading or possible updates, whatever, and it's just really, really awesome. And especially for someone like me who wants to make videos and be able to discuss and talk about this stuff with you guys, Fallout 76 really gives me the tools to be able to do that, and I will always be thankful to them for that. Regardless of everything else they do, I will always be thankful to Bethesda for allowing me to make this kind of content. That's maybe a whole other video that I should make, but I'm not going to, get down on my knees and start kissing their feet. Anyways, let's move on. I think this is what really has garnished the continued support from our fan base, and we've got a really big fan base, very dedicated. Like I said, 13.5 million players. So being able to facilitate all the different play styles of the fan base to keep them all interested and engaged has been the key. And continuing on that point, I will say, I do agree with that. I think that Fallout 76, it's like a sandbox almost. Although it has this post-apocalyptic theme to it, and you guys can tell with me, like my character builds and all that stuff, you can come in here and realistically be whatever you want to be. I mean, you could be a superhero with a ray gun if you wanted to, and you could also be a serial killer with a bloody sledgehammer. Like, there's all these kinds of avenues you can take, and I really will say props to Bethesda for keeping everybody interested. Now, obviously, with the legacies and stuff being gone, and there are players that have left because of other things as well. Obviously, everyone cannot be appetized, but I will say that they do a decent job. And hey, even with my problems in the Atomic Shop, most of the stuff that they add every week is kind of trash, at least in my opinion, but there will always be kind of one highlight or one thing that I will find in the Atomic Shop that I take with me and that I do appreciate. So I understand they have a lot that they kind of have to cater to, but they do a good job catering to it. All right, moving on. What else do we have here? What are you most proud of with Fallout 76 as a game developer? Again, with the advent of games as a service, there's something unique with the cadence of releases that we have and how we've been able to get that player feedback really quickly. Sometimes it's very positive and sometimes it's very critical, but it's all aimed at making the game and the space better. And that goes back to what I'm talking about here. Being able to communicate with the players and the developers on almost kind of an equal level, which I'll get to at the end of the video. It's a whole other story. It really makes it so the communication is great between the players and the game. And if you look at games like Call of Duty and developers like Activision and stuff like that, very rarely do you see them catering to what the fans want or fixing and stuff like that. But because of the size of this game and because of the communication tactics that we have, I feel like it is very beneficial for the players and the developers to be talking to each other, because then it works out for both parties. He goes on to say, what I'm most proud of and satisfied with 76, wow. So what I'm most proud of and satisfied with Fallout 76 as a game developer is how engaged our community has been for all these years. They want to see the game grow just as much as we do. I can't say I've ever been a part of a game where the developers and the players have that kind of relationship, so that's what I'm the most satisfied and proud of with Fallout 76. So he's basically just reiterating what I'm saying. No other game that I've played, or I feel like really other people have played, has had this kind of interaction between the player to player and the player to the company, player to the developer interaction. I really do love that, and it makes the whole, I know I've said communication about 18 times here, but it makes the communication come full circle, and that way nobody's kind of left out there. All right, the rest of this article kind of talks about more personal stuff, like what would you like to see and blah 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 blah. Not really stuff that's important, but I do like to highlight things like this on my channel, developer talks and stuff like that, to kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. And of course, any day I will sit down. Okay, can you shut up over there? I'm trying to make a video here. Any day I would love to sit down and talk about how much I love this community. But I did say I wanted to save something for the end of the video. Listen, nowadays, video games and Discord go hand in hand, especially regarding the player-to-company communication and banter and stuff like that. My personal opinion regarding Fallout 76's Discord is that that place should not exist, and if it should, it needs to be under new ownership. I have heard and experienced way too many negative things in that Discord for me in any way to appreciate it. I think that the moderators in that Discord are power hungry. They have no respect for people's opinions that aren't their own, and I do not think that it is a proper way to run a Discord or really any kind of business, I would say. So I do find it somewhat hypocritical, and although Jonathon Rush here is the art director, he has nothing to do with this Discord thing, but I do find it somewhat hypocritical that they're talking about the community and how there's a lot of communication between the developers and the players, and meanwhile your biggest kind of avenue of communication there, being Discord, is not working out for a lot of people. I mean, my personal opinion, because I am banned from there, I went in there one time and cracked a joke about legacies being removed and immediately was banned, and so was a couple of my other friends. So I thought that was very unfair. At least in the country that I live in, I'm allowed to say whatever the heck I want, so I was a little offended by that. But anyways, not like Discord is really, really a land of laws. So anyways, I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Let me know what you think about this developer interview. I will leave a link to it in the description below if you guys want to go read it. And that is all I have for you today. All right, my name is Navigator. Have a nice day. Take care.